Tucker Carlson has spent a year and a half effectively trying to ensure that you know as little about COVID as possible, that you take it as unseriously as possible, and that rhetorical war that he's waged on you being prepared for this crisis has evolved over time. Early on, he admitted that masks worked and he thought that you should socially distance. That dropped off after a few months. And it just got worse and worse from there. He turned totally anti-vax. I think he was actually a pioneer in that in mainstream media, and the rest have tried to follow in his wake. And most recently, despite thinking that getting COVID feminizes you, he actually has a new argument. He thinks that not only should you not care about COVID, but you shouldn't even talk about COVID. Well, why? Because it'll scare people, it'll hurt the economy or something? No. His argument is much more mundane than that. Listen to this.
If you find yourself living in a place where people are still talking about COVID nonstop 2 years in, it is time to move. Not just because your neighbors have been brainwashed, though obviously they have been, but because your neighbors are boring. At this point, it is simply not an interesting topic for your private life. Yes, COVID has killed a lot of people, so has prostate cancer. Imagine telling people about your prostate every day for the next 2 years. People would know that you are a narcissist. No one would sit next to you at dinner. You would be boorish. And that's exactly what COVID talk sounds to the well-adjusted among us.
Well-adjusted, he is indisputably. You may not be able to actually point to a person who died this year and say they died because they made the bad decision to trust Tucker Carlson. He has definitely led to the deaths of countless people, but what's boorish, what not well-adjusted is to talk about it. Perhaps to ask if someone has gotten their booster shot, ask if they know a little bit about Omicron. Do we have any more information about whether it will actually be more mild than the Delta variant? Oh, sorry, I apologize if I'm boring the audience right now talking about the largest public health crisis of the last 100+ years. But think about how far the rhetorical war has, now his argument is just, don't talk about it, it bores me. What a pathetic position for a guy with millions of viewers on a daily basis to take.
Okay, I actually think it's a little worse than that. So first of all, why is it a topic of conversation in the first place? Because of you guys. So are we constantly talking about the polio vaccine? No, because the right-wing media didn't go on a warpath randomly against the polio vaccine.
Yeah.
If they had, we'd be talking for 2 years about the polio vaccine. It was a decision they made to talk about COVID to try to convince you not to take the vaccines and not to wear masks, and that was gonna somehow make you more manly, right? So if you shut up about it, Tucker, it actually kind of will magically go away. And so it's 100% your fault that we're talking about it. Otherwise, it would have been a vaccine like every other vaccine that we all take and is mandated by the schools and work and military and everything else, and we never would have had a conversation about it, and we would have saved hundreds of thousands of lives, which I think is part of the point, which I'm gonna get to in a second. And you wanna talk about people boring others with COVID conversations? That's all the right-wingers ever do. Did you know, man, it's the government trying to put the chip in you, and then it's Gates and Fauci, man, freedom, man. You take the dewormer, you get the worms out, okay? Your guys will never stop talking about it. Yeah. Like, we're like, okay, guys, let's move on. Things are getting better. We've said that on the show like 12 times, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh yeah. Right? So don't come at us, come at your fellow clowns. But so why is he doing this is part of the interesting question. Oh, but side note first, this is hilarious. He's like, the people won't want to sit next to you at a dinner party. Is that what most people are going to? Are they going to dinner parties nonstop, like socialite heir of the Swanson fortune, Tucker Carlson? He speaks from his own elitist perspective so much, and he has no idea he's doing it. I mean, is that what the valets parking your Bentley are saying? I don't think so. I'm such a populist. I have a flannel shirt, I just bought it. But anyway, why is he doing it? This is the second time he's now come out trying to get past COVID. In fact, he said on the last time that if you get COVID, it might make you more feminine. So don't get COVID. I think that he's gotten to a point where he's like, we've killed off too many of our own voters. Like, he's turning, no question. He's trying to get beyond killing off his own viewers. And so, look, that's 2 in a row. You get 3, and there's no question he's decided for whatever reason. But I think my best theory is like tens of thousands of dead Republicans in swing states. No joke. That could affect elections. And there's the unvaccinated are dying at 10 times the rate. And now the unvaccinated are almost all Republicans. So he's probably thinking, man, we need Arizona. I gotta stop telling people not to take the vaccine implicitly. Fair.
And we see that here in Florida too. We've had 62,000 people die just in this state of COVID. So I do think there's a little bit of an awakening, but obviously these people like Tucker, they've gone too far. They can't walk it back now and be like, all right, fine, go get vaccinated. So they do come up with the dumbest things possible, like, hey, if you get COVID, we don't know what that's gonna do to your manhood, but it's totally not good. So please don't get COVID because you're junk there. You need to protect it. So it's gonna get weird, guys. It's gonna get weirder than what we've already seen because they do have to protect their audience. They have to protect their voting base. You can't continue to let these people die left and right like they are currently doing. What was it, 4 times more likely to die of COVID than a Democrat? I mean, being a Republican's a pre-existing condition at this point. It's a comorbidity. And they finally understand we have to do something, but we've already trashed the vaccine, we've trashed masks, so maybe we talk about the genitals. I don't know. That's where Tucker's at now, and I promise you, it's gonna get so much weirder as it goes on.
Well, I assume one indication for you then would be if he actually comes out strongly in favor of that pill, the new Pfizer pill.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Which I've doubted they would, but I guess we'll see.
No, look, guys, remember it. The right-wing audience is the most impressionable audience in the world. You just have to say something to them, they'll believe it instantly as long as it's a right-winger saying it, okay? So you think they can't turn around on the vaccine and say freedom means taking the vaccine? I know it seems impossible, right? But they've gotten them to believe impossible things time after time after time. So, and John makes a great point. The vaccine might be a little too late, but when the pill comes out, I wouldn't be surprised at all that they're like, no, vaccines are not government interference, but the government telling you to take the pill, that's a great idea. Okay, please stop dying. We're gonna lose Florida, Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin. Okay. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.